may just edit it so all my numbers are changed in the future. We'll find out. Number 4 on the list, Conker's Bad Fur Day. Now, this is definitely a unique game on the N64, but what makes it nostalgic to you?
Really, you already nailed it, the uniqueness of this game. This game was so different than everything else, mainly because it was rated M for mature. Like, I remember, like, I couldn't rent the game. I went try to get it from Blockbuster. I couldn't get it. I was by myself. They're like, you're a kid. You can't rent this game. I was like, what are you talking about?
Is that a thing?
And that was the first time I think I was ever age-gated from anything, because I really had never tried to sneak into an R-rated movie or anything like that.
Yeah.
So this was the first time I was ever age-gated from like anything. I couldn't comprehend it. I was just like, what?
Yeah, how did we get a hold of the game? Like, when was the first time we were able to play?
Okay, so this was a game that I didn't own for a long time. I think I eventually did own it, or did I just steal it from Jesse?
That's a good question.
I don't think I ever properly owned this game, especially not during the time when it was actually like out. This was actually a pretty late game. It's the N64.
Yeah, it was
the latest of all the games that we've talked about. And I never bought it. I think I did eventually get to rent it. I think I did rent it. I got my mom to get it for me somehow. I don't think she ever would have let me rent it if she knew about all this.
Like, can you get this game? I don't really feel like walking there today. Can you go get Conker's Bad Fur Day for me?
Because my mom was perfectly fine with as much blood or whatever.
No, that didn't matter.
It was the boobs that mattered.
No, in our day, yeah, no boobs, heads getting cut off in speed. That's fine. That was the rule of the road back then. That's true.
But yeah, this game was M for mature. It was bloody. Unlike, I mean, I think there was a little blood in Perfect Dark.
Right.
But this was like you could snipe people's quarters of their head off, just a quarter, not their whole head. You could snipe their whole head off as well.
Right.
But sometimes it'd be half or a quarter, and you'd see the brain in there, or there'd be blood spurting out. You'd run around with katanas chopping people's heads off. And it was like, oh my goodness, like it's bloody, guys. Oh my, what are we playing?
Yeah, I mean the main story, which I've definitely played through a bunch, but I don't think I got very far in it. I mean, it was a hilarious story. It had, all the great N64 3D mechanics going with the camera and the movement and the different abilities. And then what it always kind of comes back to, though, N64 is the multiplayer, right? That's where it kind of comes back. And there was a lot of different modes, if I remember right.
There was a ton of modes, some very unique modes of multiplayer. Really quick, I want to touch on the single player.
Okay.
The single player was very different. I mean, obviously, you expect this game to play like Banjo-Kazooie or Mario 64 because it looks kind of like that. And in a lot of ways, it did play like that. But the story was so different. It was, I mean, literally the story is about a squirrel getting too drunk one night and like walking home the wrong way. And his girlfriend's kidnapped. He finds out eventually, and then he's got to go save her, but he's too drunk to do anything.
I just remember like Beardy. That's the thing. He said like Beardy.
There's just ridiculous things to that game. That game was also, even at the time, too advanced for me. They made a ton of movie references in that game that I wasn't even aware of at the time. Like Reservoir Dogs. I didn't watch Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah. Matrix, Alien.
There were so many cool things about the single player, but really, always nostalgia always goes back to the split screen. All these games, all the N64 games, split screens. Before we had any Xbox Live or any internet thing, so this was all split screen. So you would play with your friends on the same TV and in the same room.
Hopefully a big TV.
Yeah, hopefully you always try to get the biggest TV because I mean you're only getting 1/4 of that TV, so you hope the TV's big enough. But yeah, the multiplayer of that game. I think one game mode that we played a lot, which is really weird, and I don't think there's ever been really a game mode that's like this, is some weird like Teddies versus immigrants.
That's what it was. It's Teddies
versus immigrants. That's what it was. All right. So there's the evil teddy bears that have built a wall. They're basically all mini Trumps.
Right, they're mini Trumps, mini Trump bears.
They build their wall. They don't want those immigrants getting by, and so they had all these defenses and sniper rifles and cannons and turrets to try to kill the immigrants that had to try to like sneak by.
I think they were the squirrels, right? Like they were just random squirrels. They weren't Conker.
Yeah, they weren't Conker, but they all like, of course, kind of looked. I think they were even going for that game, like the Jews escaping the Nazis or something like that. Like, really, they were
probably. It's Conker's Bad Fur Day. Anything could happen.
And so, really, that game was super adult. But that game, you just be sitting there waiting for somebody to, like, they're gonna pull a corner and you're gonna run, and they had to try to run and jump and get to the door and make it past your wall. I don't know why there was a giant like door that was open.
I think it was like a special switch you could make it to that like killed all the teddies. I think I remember that too. So like someone could try to sneak that way, but it's out in the open.
Yeah,
and so like
you had to climb up super high, do a lot of things.
So there was like multiple ways in, and the teddies had to watch all of them to make sure that the squirrels, the immigrants, didn't get in.
Yeah, and that was, I feel, to me, Conker's Bad Fur Day might have had the best multiplayer, and I don't know why I love that mode so much.
I remember it too.
It was just so great. But really, actually, a big downside of that game was the more human players you had, the less bots you could have. I assume that 100% it was a programming restriction.
Yeah.
But if you played that Teddy mode with all humans, I don't think you could have any bots. If you played 2-player, you could have like 8 bots. So I know many times we'd purposely play that mode 2-player, and we'd play as the Teddies, and then
right.
eight of these the squirrel people trying to get by, and they'd be super intense. It'd be super fun.
You got to cover all the exits to make sure they don't get in.
But yeah, so that was a weird thing. But there was some crazy modes. There were some modes that we didn't really play too much. There was one of you was a raptor, and you had to like protect your eggs.
Oh yeah.
You try to steal the egg. The cavemen try to steal the eggs and bring it back to their base, while the raptor was just eating everyone. Again, pretty at that time gory mode. I mean, you're like biting off their heads and eating their bodies. By today's standards, it's like not gory at all. But back then, it was pretty big for us.
Oh yeah.
But really, I'll let you talk really quick about the multiplayer. I've been talking a lot.
Well, I mean, it's kind of fun. I think we're kind of reminding each other. That's one of the cool things about this conversation that we're having in this whole series is that it's all about nostalgia. And sometimes all it takes is that one memory, that one song, that one sound, and that'll sort of bring all the memories back. So like when I mentioned blowing up the characters, so it's kind of fun just kind of listening to you go over it, because some of these games you played more, some of them I played more. Or in different ways, and so it's kind of nice just to kind of sit back and kind of remember, reminisce, I remember that dinosaur mode now. With the multiplayer, like some things that really stood out to me that you mentioned at one point, but like there's a sword weapon that you can get, and you can run around and you can basically like chop off someone's head with like one hit, and so that was really fun. Always trying to charge people, and it's N64 controls, so there was probably a little bit of auto aim, but it's hard to hit people in those games. Yep. And so you would run out with a sword like, no, get away, you just try to kill him before he chops your head off. And then there was one level in particular in the battle mode that had like a bathroom in the sub area, and when you went into the bathroom, your weapons got put away, like unequipped, and basically you heard like a zip sound, and now your character is peeing, and if anyone walks into your stream, that did damage. And so it's just things like that are just like so hilarious, and like you would never see anything like that in a video game. And it's silly, it's potty humor, but like that's kind of what we needed, like at that age and at that time. Like that was like the target audience.
High school, I mean. You'd have the piss battles down in the bathrooms. That was good.
Come on, guys, we got a piss battle right now. Like, no, I'm down here.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Good times. Hey, make sure you subscribe. Check out my other videos, including this series, 7 Reasons Why, as well as many other series. Check them out and stay nostalgic, my friends.